Hey everybody, we're going to get started. It's 1 o'clock on the dot. We're going to talk about Florida housing today. Hopefully everyone can see my screen with the PowerPoint. We're going to go through that and then we're going to go to the website, the Florida housing website, and go into a little more detail. So if you have any questions, unmute, jump in, no worries. Otherwise, I tend to talk fast, and if you need me to slow down, let me know. If you need me to repeat something, let me know. But here we go. Hold on. So TPO Go, we are your Florida housing lender. We are a national mortgage wholesaler licensed in most states across the country. We do sell direct to Fannie and Freddie and issue with Ginnie Mae. So we provide a wide variety of products. We do a full range of renovation products as well as government products, and we do state bond programs like Florida Housing. We do state bond programs in Connecticut, Mass, and Florida. Your account executive, and Cody is our sales coordinator. Craig is our processor, our account manager. So Cody helps with the upfront stuff in the portal, and Craig takes it from conditional approval to closing. Okay, so today we're going to just go through who we are. We're going to talk about the Florida housing license requirements and all the different programs they offer. We will go into Hometown Heroes as well. Again, great loan programs for your borrowers. Just so that you all are aware, a loan originator to originate Florida housing must be licensed in the state of Florida, maintain a primary residence there, and work in the state of Florida. Mortgage brokers must have an office in Florida for at least a year, hold a Florida driver's license, and have been a mortgage broker for at least 2 years in order to originate. For reserving funds with us, locking the loan, we wait until you have conditional approval and then you can lock the loan, because Florida Housing has very strict guidelines for delivery of the loans to them. And so we reserve the funds with Florida Housing as soon as you reach conditional approval. You can lock the loan through our portal. You lock them as borrower paid, but they are actually lender paid through us. Most of the Florida housing loans are paid at 1.5. The TBA Plus is paid at 1 point, and we'll go into that in a little more detail. I want to take you to the eHousing Plus website after we get through the PowerPoint, because I would love for you all to get there and save that page on your web browser, because it's going to be a huge help to you. But just a quick overview, there are a variety of 30-year fixed rate first mortgage loans. You could do a government first, FHA, VA, USDA, or conventional, Fannie or Freddie first, and pair those with one of their down payment assistant second mortgages. You could do a single family, townhome, 2 to 4 unit, obviously needs to be primary, condo, modular, or manufactured. There are some additional guidelines with the manufactured homes, lower DTI, so we'll talk about that as well. The requirements: you must be a first-time home buyer. We do ask for 3 years of tax returns or tax transcripts when you submit your loan to us to show that's a Florida housing requirement, not a TPO Go. But you have to meet the first-time home buyer requirement. There is a minimum credit score of 640 and a max DTI of 50. For manufactured homes, the max DTI is 45. Homebuyer education is required. Your borrower can do that online, and there's a link on the website, or we can provide that to you. There are income limits with Florida Housing. The standard bond and the Hometown Heroes bond programs look at all forms of income for everyone who lives in the property. So borrower, spouse, any person 18 years old or older who will live in the property, they're going to look at their income. For standard TBA and Hometown Heroes TBA stands for the bond alternative, they only look at the income for the borrower that you put on your IRLA. So if you have higher income borrowers, you're going to want to look at those TBA programs. Credit qualifying is whatever you used to get your AUS approval. And again, TBA has higher income limits than bond. You can have a cosigner with Florida housing loans. There are some requirements. as you can see on the screen, and I'll show you where to find those in more detail specific to each program. The first down payment assistance is called the Florida Assist. It's a $10,000 second mortgage that you can pair with a government or conventional first. 0% interest rate. It's a 30-year deferred. It's not forgivable. There's no monthly payments required, so no impact on your borrower's DTI. Repayment is due when the first loan is paid off, refinanced, or they no longer live in the property as their primary residence. The second down payment assistance option is the HLP. That's a $12,500 second. It is actually a 3% fully amortizing second 30-year term. It does have a monthly payment of $52.70. So it can impact your borrower's DTI. So consider that with some of your higher DTI borrowers. The remaining unpaid principal balance is due and payable when the first is due or payable, whether they refinance, sell, or no longer occupy the property as their primary. The standard and plus TBA programs are, again, for your higher income borrowers. Those have options of 3, 4, or 5% of the first loan amount for your down payment assistance second. These are a 0% interest, 5-year forgivable second mortgage. So they're forgiven at a rate of 20% a year over 5 years. Really nice forgivable down payment assistance program. Again, these loans are only paying 1 point, and there is a 1 point origination fee on those. You're trying to figure out what the best loan is for your borrower. You're going to look at the bond. You're going to look at the TBA. The first thing you want to look at are the income limits. So you're going to figure out what your borrower's annualized income is. And I'm going to show you how to look those up and figure out the very best program for your borrower. Your down payment assistance is for down payment, or anything exceeding the down payment can be used towards closing costs. You cannot use the DPA funds to cover an appraisal gap, to cover realtor commission, or to pay off debt. This is just an example of the HFA Advantage. The income limits are surprisingly high for a state housing program. So again, if you've got somebody in Collier County, you've got a household income of $150,040. So if you just put one borrower on your IRLA who makes less than $150,000 a year, they're going to qualify for that program. Hometown Heroes changed this year, and it started a little bit later than usual. They didn't get the funding. They didn't get their budget approved, and it was not unusual this year, and got less than they had hoped for. They only got $50 million in funding. They were hoping for more. So because of that, they put the occupation requirements back in, which they had 2 years ago. So 50 million was available on August 18th. They're being very, very strict with the time frame. So they'll only do one lock for 60 days total. If you don't make that, they will cancel it, and there's no exceptions. They're very strict. You do need VOEs. You can't have remote workers. They must work for brick and mortar location in Florida. If you have an existing lock on a bond program, you cannot then flip it to Hometown Heroes. The DPA for Hometown Heroes is 5% of the first mortgage loan amount. It is not forgivable, must be paid in full again upon sale, refinance, or no longer occupying the first as their primary. Veterans are no longer exempt from the full-time employment requirement. They don't have to be employed by one of the eligible occupations for Hometown Heroes, but they do have to be employed full-time with a Florida-based employer. And active military are still exempt, but they did change that this year on the veterans. We're going to go into this when we get to the website. What the program occupations require: healthcare, school staff member, first responder, public safety, court employer, childcare worker, service member, and a veteran working full-time. Keep in mind, there are requirements even within those categories, and I'll show you how to look those up. For example, we had someone who was a professor at Gulf State University, and they didn't qualify because for school staff, it's K through 12 only. So there's some little tricky things with them. Again, 5% of the total loan amount is your DPA second, minimum of 10,000, max of 35. Pair those with a Govy or conventional first. It's a 0% interest, 30-year deferred second, never forgiven, no monthly payments. And again, like all the Florida housing, must be a first-time home buyer, minimum FICO of 640. They're going to be very strict with documenting that they're working for a Florida-based employer. So they're going to want to make sure that the employer has a Florida address. If they are a self-employed borrower, you're going to want to make sure that you look them up in DBPR or SunBiz and make sure that they are a Florida corporation. I'm going to take you to the screen to show you eligible occupations and how to do program calculation. So for the Hometown Heroes Bond Program, they're going to look at the borrower and the spouse and make sure that everyone meets the income requirements, and they're looking at all forms of income. For the TBA program, again, just like the standard bond programs, whomever you put on your IRLA, that's the income that they're going to look at. For Hometown Heroes, first-time home buyer, the only one, the borrower or the has to be a first-time home buyer, not have owned a principal residence in the last 3 years. Only one must comply with the occupation guidelines. And again, self-employed, you're going to want to prove that it's a Florida-based company. Purchase only, minimum 640 FICO. The DTI is a hard, fast rule at 50. And property types are 1-unit dwelling, including townhomes. Max DTI for manufactured is down to 45. Again, that's just confirming you have to document that they're a Florida-based employer. They're very strict with that. These are brokered only. Your loans are locked through the portal. You lock them as borrower paid to get pricing. I'm going to really jump over because this is so much better for you guys to go to the website. This is the Florida Housing website. I'm hoping you can all see my screen. Holler at me if you can't. And I'll copy the link and I'll put it in the chat for you. But save this to your web browser because you're going to go to this all the time. As you can see, there's 23 million remaining in the Hometown Heroes program. It's going to tell you the rate. We pull our rates directly from the website. The DPA, what the minimum FICO is, what your first loan amounts can be. So this is the bond and the TBA. Then you have the standard bond, the standard TBA. Remember that TBA is for your higher income borrowers. The plus TBA is for your highest income borrowers. And that's the one that has the 3, 4, or 5% forgivable down payment assistance program. So when you have a borrower in front of you and you're trying to determine what the best program is, your favorite tool would be right here, the bond versus TBA cheat sheet. If you click on that, it will take you to this wonderful document where it will go through what the differences are between your bond and your TBA program. So again, primary is your income and purchase price limits. The rates vary. Your max DTI is the same for both programs. What your eligible first mortgage is. Manual underwriting, very tough with Florida housing. The DPA programs that are available to your borrowers. What's great here is if you have a cosigner, you click on all these hyperlinks work, take you to the cosigner term sheet, what the requirements are to have a cosigner on your loan. If you have a manufactured home, here's your manufactured home term sheet, click on that. It's going to take you to the document that's going to go through what programs are available, and really important what your property standards are for Florida housing, which is right here. We go back, so that's huge. If you have someone who's hometown heroes and you click on hometown heroes and you want to know if their occupation qualifies, right here, hometown heroes occupations, here's a hyperlink. Click on that and it's going to take you in full detail. So for healthcare workers, it breaks down all the different titles. Medical therapist, okay, school staff members, again, K through 12, public-private charter, and then what the staff members' titles are that are eligible. First responders, it takes you through them all. This is a wonderful tool for folks to use. So if you're not sure whether somebody is eligible, just go right there and it's going to walk you through it. All of your program requirements are here, all the guidelines. So if you are doing a standard bond, for example, and you want to know if your borrower is going to qualify with their income, here's your full lender guide and guidelines. All of these, usually about page 15 or 16, the income guidelines start. So again, for bond, which you could pair with either the Florida Assist or the Florida HLP, these are your income guidelines by county. If your borrower makes more money and doesn't qualify, then we're going to go back and we're going to look at the TBA. And again, you're going to zip over to page 16 or so, and you can see the income guidelines are a little bit higher on those. And if your borrower still makes too much money, we're going to go back to the plus TBA and zip down to about page 14 on this one. So you can see the income guidelines are the highest yet with the plus TBA program. And again, plus TBA is looking at only who you put on your IRLA. So if you've got a high-powered couple making a lot of money, you just put one of them on the IRLA, run your AUS findings, make sure that they meet these income limits, and you'll be good to go. Again, the plus TBA, as you can see here, those have the 3, 4, or 5% DPA forgivable second. The others are using your Florida Assist or your Florida HLP second mortgage. Now, when you submit these in our portal, our team will set up the second mortgage for you in the system. They'll create the loan for you. You're just going to want to make sure your first mortgage lists what your DPA is as subordinate financing, so the findings will run correctly. But we'll set up the second for you. And if you get stuck and you're not sure which program to use, just call. We'll walk through it together. But there's really great info here. I apologize, I was going to put that in the chat, and I will do that now. But save this website. It's so helpful, and it's got such great info for your teams to just go through and figure out what the best program is for your borrower. So I am going to right-click that. Put that in there. So click on that and save it. Okay. And I know I went through that really quickly, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have while we're all here live together. I must have done a really good job because nobody has any questions. All right, well, we are going to post this training on our portal. So, oh, loan officer requirements, absolutely, Greg. So again, a loan officer has to be licensed in the state of Florida and live and work in the state of Florida. A brokerage should have an office in Florida, have had the office open for at least a year, and the mortgage broker have been a broker for at least 2 years. Great. We will have the recording on our website. I sent you the link. If anyone needs anything or has any questions, please reach out. We're here to help however we can. We love Florida housing loans. We're really good at them. The one little quirk, you cannot charge a third-party processing fee. Florida housing doesn't allow it, so keep that in mind. But otherwise, they're a really easy loan to do, and it's a really great option for your borrowers to have this kind of down payment assistance available. Florida Housing is funded all year round. So unlike Hometown Heroes, which is, once the money's gone, the money's gone. Florida Housing itself, all the other standard bond TBA and TBA plus programs are available 365 days a year. So now that they've changed the occupation requirements this year, a lot of folks who are waiting for Hometown Heroes funding no longer qualify. So they will qualify most likely for their regular bond or TBA programs. So, and the rates are great. So, definitely something to offer your borrowers. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. I don't see anything else in the chat. So you're welcome, Craig. And so I'll wrap it up, and I'm here if you need me. Madison will send out whatever you guys need in terms of the presentation. And again, the recording will be online in the next half hour, so you can always refer to that as well. Or you can call me. I always pick up the phone. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.